All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in Southern Oregon after our first little mini trip of 2025 with the Tarlton Motorsports number 21. Motorhome's back. T-shirt trailer. Gosh, this thing, it's ready for a bath. Everything made it back successfully from Oregon to California to Nevada to California to Arizona, back to California, back here to home. And you know the saying, there's no place like home. It just feels so good to be back. Of course, you know, there's a lot of guys that probably do enjoy living on the road. I mean, I enjoy it. I think we all enjoy it. That's why we do it. And like Bobby Allen from Shark Racing always says, it's just part of the job. And whether it's a few weeks, a few months, or the entire year, like it's a lot. So just feels good to be back for a little bit. The weather in the Pacific Northwest is getting better. Like, this is a great time of year, and gonna head down to the race shop right now. I haven't seen that place here now in a few weeks. All right, there it is from the outside. All right, so as I walk in here, it feels good to see everything. Like, I'm holding you guys at an awkward angle because I can't, let's just say I can't show you what's behind my hand right here. And trust me, I want to. Like, I want to. I got both cars sitting here. They're not completely finished yet. Ah, gosh, it's like, they look so good. They look so good. And here soon I can show you. I just can't right this moment. But anyway, it feels great to be back here in the race shop. That is the only thing about being on the road. Like, it would be nice if, you know, you had a shop in the Midwest, or even like kind of what Tarleton's were able to do, like going back to Fresno, you know, the Central Valley, like going back and forth and having your own shop, or at least having somewhere to work out of. That just makes, you know, even your traveling distance, like having that makes it all so much better, and definitely ups the experience. And now with our trip complete, in today's show, I wanted to talk a little bit about how like the start to our season has been, how it's been running with the Tarlton 21, and what does our future look like. Like, is it possible for us to now go full-time with High Limit? Are we gonna stick to our schedule? Like, I've been getting asked a million questions on all platforms. So let's start out with the obvious. Our start to 2025 in the 21 car has been really good. You know, we won the Silver Cup, and now this stint with High Limit, like basically our worst night was an 11th place finish, you know, minus the blown tire at Paris. We realistically could have had, you know, 4 top 5s there, maybe even a 5th. You know, I really think our car was super good at Vegas. We had all those tire issues and we fought back to like right outside the top 10, but realistically, like that could have been another improved result. And I'm not on here to try to sound like every other race car driver. Like, what us race car drivers are good at is telling you why we should have won the race or why we absolutely should have ran better. But there is truth to what I'm saying. As much as we've had some good luck, we've had speed, we've also had some like weird situations. You know, like I said, Vegas, you know, Paris could have been avoided. You know, we lost a spot on the final lap at Tulare. But anyway, like, just the blanket statement is we had great speed, we were a contender, and we had consistency. It wasn't like one night we were fast and the next night we weren't. Like, we were qualifying well. You know, we were always in the first 2 rows of a heat race. We won some heat races. Our dash spins were atrocious. We need to work on that here coming up. I've just been sitting here in the shop now that I'm home. I'm just going to be spinning a wheel. So as a team, we're happy where we're at, and we just want to keep riding this momentum and, you know, running more races. And also, I think we've just had a lot of fun working together. Like, I've enjoyed working with Drew Warner as my crew chief, Nate, you know, Carly being a part of the team, and I think we're all 4 just gelling, and that's so important in sprint car racing because everybody has good equipment, everyone has engines that run, everyone has nice haulers. At the top of the sport, I think you can see with High Limit, with the Outlaws, everyone is spread out by this much, and a lot of it is combination and working well together, and like I said, gelling to, you know, build that consistency and get that little edge over the field. And over time, as guys work together, and now you see that with some of the top stars, they start building that separation with the rest of the field, and then it just almost looks like they're untouchable. So I've absolutely been enjoying my time with the team, and then also everyone a part of the program, the entire Tarlton family, all the employees that I've encountered. Everyone has just been so welcoming, and they're just a great bunch of people that enjoy dirt track racing. So it's been fun driving the car, and now it's time for me to talk about the elephant in the room. So I have to tell you, if I had like $100 for every time someone has asked me in the last like 2 weeks if there's a possibility of us going full-time with High Limit, like with how things are going, man, are you gonna run the entire year? Are they just gonna scrap all their original plans? Texts, phone calls, social media, like it's actually been crazy, like literally crazy. So I just wanted to kind of clear the air that, you know, unfortunately, as much as I would love to, and I think like a lot of people would like to, like who wouldn't want to go, you know, full tour racing with high limit? Unfortunately, with Tarlton Motorsports this year, we are not going to be, you know, moving forward and running every single high limit show as a full-time competitor. Now, I will say I got to give high limit some credit. They did a good job hyping it up like it maybe was a possibility. You know, they're just doing their job, joking about us signing, you know, the agreement. So I know probably quite a few of you guys are disappointed. And like I said, it's one of those things, I would love to do it. I think every sprint car driver's goal for the most part is to run a big schedule or to run a national touring schedule, whether that's with high limit or with the Outlaws. And now the reasoning, well, of course, like Tarlton had, you know, this whole season set up already. You know, I'm gonna run my 30 shows, McFadden's gonna do the other half of the season. And so they're not just gonna go back on obviously all the plans that they have. With that too, Tarlton is just not necessarily a team that wants to go national tour racing. If they wanted to, they probably could put something together to run a whole year and travel and this and that, but they're a California West Coast team that really enjoys doing it. They enjoy racing in California. Yes, they want to travel some when they can, you know, like the big stint that we just did, or we're about to head back to the Midwest for a few weeks, or run all those races up to Dirt Cup, up to Washington, or go back for Knoxville Nationals. But being like on the road 24/7, having, you know, everything it takes to do that, it's just not necessarily in their best interest. That's not why they have a team. And I 110% respect that and actually understand it. Coming from someone that has, you know, their own program trying to do this, it's almost one of those things like as you make it so big, like it can one take over your life, or it can almost be so much stress, or it almost ends up being no fun instead of all the fun that it was. So I think they do a really good job. Like I said, like they just have this schedule, like here's kind of what their goal is, here's what they're wanting to do, and they're gonna stick to that no matter what. No matter if we're winning all the races or we're not doing well, like they just, like that's their plan and that's what they're rolling with. So everything that was the game plan on January 1st, 2025 is still the game plan today and moving forward. Now, I'll be honest, as a driver, like it is tough, like when you're looking at yourself, and at one point we were in the top 5 in points, and then we dropped because of the blown tire. We would have been like 2nd, and then now I think we're maybe 7th. I did look at the schedule and I was like, how would it play out? Like, is there any possible way if I got my own car going, like I could start running that but still finish running with the 21 and then pick back up? And like, obviously there was no way to make it work, but as a driver, I'm like, man, it would be cool to run for points with the start that we've had. Of course, too, I'm committed to the 21 car, so whatever they said is what I'm doing. If they, for some reason, did change their mind, like whatever they said the plan is what I was doing. But really thankful, again, for the opportunity that they've given me, and just glad 2025 is off to a red-hot start. But for today, I did just want to give you guys the official update. I will say, in my future as a sprint car driver, before I'm done, like I want to run the World of Outlaws, or I want to run with high limit. Full-time touring on the road with my own car, in someone else's car, like you just never know how things work out, but I definitely want to do it before my career's over, you know, down the line. And I feel like I'm getting closer. It's not something easy to do. It's one of the toughest things in all of sprint car racing. And I think from a distance, you know, most don't realize how difficult it is. And that's why I try to document what I do here on YouTube and on all my platforms, to give you guys an insight. Even myself, like we were on a very aggressive schedule, but we're not driving all the way to Florida, then driving back across, like, you know, all the miles that the Outlaws do, or that high limit do. Like, it's so impressive. And now the final spot, back in my bedroom. Like I said, gonna soak in some time here in Southern Oregon, keep working on our program here, because the 18T is gonna be on track before we know it. So we will be sharing all that with you here soon. And then before we even take a breath, snap our fingers, we're gonna be heading back to Knoxville, Iowa with the Tarlton team, Eldora, and a few other fun tracks for our next big trip with those guys. But thank you for watching. We're gonna keep bringing you along with us for our journey throughout 2025. Deuces.